Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. New tonight, a 14-year-old boy is being investigated for making threats against several Spokane middle and high schools nearly 2 weeks ago. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk is going through the search warrant filed today, and it shows how police and the FBI zeroed in on the boy's home.
These threats scared a lot of parents last month. Some students stayed home from school. Court docs show how police were able to trace the threat and what the 14-year-old suspect had to say when they showed up to his mother's house.
On the night of September 28th, Spokane police started getting calls reporting a threat to several middle and high schools in District 81. The online threat warned students to stay home the next day, saying a group would bring guns, knives, and weapons of destruction to every school in Spokane they could get to. Spokane police began investigating around 8:30 that night and were knocking at the suspect's door just 4 hours later. Court documents say SPD detectives were contacted by the FBI. A social media company had reported the threat and provided authorities a username and associated email account. Police were then able to identify an IP address, which led them to a home near the Northtown Mall. Police spoke with a 14-year-old boy who said he was aware of the threat but denied creating it. The boy's mom then gave police her son's phone and tablet. During a follow-up interview the next morning, the boy told police, quote, "I did it as a joke. I did it to scam my friends." Court docs say the boy posted the names of schools in Spokane he was familiar with, but again told police it was all part of a joke he was trying to play. By 6 a.m. the following morning, Spokane Public Schools sent a message to parents letting them know Spokane police confirmed the threat is not credible.
Now, KREM 2 is not naming the student since he is a juvenile. Even though court documents say he admitted to creating the threat, police tell us they are continuing to actively investigate this case, and so far, that 14-year-old has not been arrested. In the studio, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
Also new tonight, the Spokane County Commissioners voted 3-2 to pass a motion in support of Measure 1. This comes just 24 hours after the Spokane City Council voted to oppose that measure that would increase sales tax to pay for a new jail. 2 people spoke in favor of the measure and 1 against. Sheriff John Knowles was one of the speakers in favor, rather.
Measure 1 will give us a facility that will allow us to hold people accountable. We can move people into treatment, and we can make sure that there is something waiting for them that is less attractive than going to treatment.
We also heard from a resident, Stephen North, against the measure. He called it flawed.
Per the RCWs, when they pick up people dangerous to themselves or others, they can only be held for 11 hours and have to be released. They're not even off of their drug high yet at that point. That doesn't do any benefit to helping improve the crime rates or anything else in Spokane. Some real solutions need to be thought through.
Measure 1 will be on your ballot come November. The money raised by the proposed 0.2% tax increase would also be used to close the Geiger Correctional Facility and expand the existing downtown jail. Attacks, explosions, and air raids rage on tonight in Gaza as the death toll in Israel's war against Hamas climbs to more than 1,600. Though more than 6,000 miles away, a Spokane mom has close ties to the situation because her daughter lives not far from the center of the conflict. Jenna Ray's daughter, Brianna, has lived in Israel for 2.5 years with her partner, Daniel. And even though they're an hour away from the center of the fighting, they've had to take cover in bomb shelters and can hear rockets from their window.
So even though we're physically more safe where we're at right now, there's not a single person that is emotionally okay in the slightest.
Imagine me sitting here. I can do nothing. We can't extract her. The airport is closed. No one can buy any tickets. I mean, I'd bring both Daniel and Bree home in a minute if we could.
The couple is also living with more uncertainty because Daniel is in Israel's Army Reserves. He's fought before in 2014, so he is on standby to join the fighting or the rescue efforts. Well, today is the 4th day of the war between Israel and Hamas, and coming up in 10 minutes, we're hearing from President Joe Biden publicly for the first time, so stay tuned for more on that. In the meantime, let's switch gears and talk weather. The rain has officially moved in, taking away our 70-degree weekend. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy DeGoo to find out more on what's in store for the rest of the week. Jeremy?
Mark, you weren't here yesterday, but yeah, I ate my words. We did eke out.
Yeah.
I know, right? But it is a far cry from there. 50 degrees right now. Why is that important? Because we're all inside? Well, it's important because it's a about a 15-degree drop from where we sat this time yesterday. Those temperatures just keep dropping with our overall weather pattern starting to change greatly. Look at the movement of that low in just the past 4 hours. Kind of incredible the way that thing has moved closer to shore. It is going to make landfall in western Washington, and as it does so, we will see more showers possible. A little bit more activity down in Pullman and Moscow this evening, but for the most part, we are done with it here in Spokane. About 0.06 of an inch of rain is what we have eked out today. Tomorrow, with that low moving by, it moves a little bit closer than initially anticipated, so it is likely we see a few more showers tomorrow afternoon, and then that eventually works its way out. As the low moves to our south and our east, it opens the door for clearer skies to build in. For us, what that means is it's likely a chilly and foggy Thursday morning across the inland northwest. 55 tomorrow, 59 on Thursday, but look at that morning low, 40. Likely many locations dropping down into the 30s. Snow overnight in the Cascades tonight is likely. Friday, we're talking a mostly sunny day, and that likely is the warmest day of the week.
And veterans on this year's Inland Northwest Honor Flight touched down at the Spokane Airport just within the past few hours, marking the end of another successful trip to Washington, D.C. Honor Flight gives veterans a free chance to visit the monuments built in their honor. Veterans who served in World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War were on today's flight. The public was invited to welcome them home, an especially meaningful moment for many, as they didn't always receive the warmest welcome when they returned home from service decades ago. And now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. We are digging deeper into recent vandalism at the Odyssey youth movement. 3 days in a row, the center woke up to paint smeared over the rainbow crosswalk and signs, a hate speech spray painted on a window and a door. Odyssey Executive Director Ian Sullivan says the vandalism is disappointing, but he says it will not erase the LGBTQ community in Spokane or the Perry District.
These folks are determined to break us down, to make us feel as though we don't belong here, even though we know quite the opposite. We know this community supports us. They have shown that in recent weeks, and especially in the last handful of days. So it's that mix of the immediate heart sink, but knowing that our people are here for us and we belong in this community.
The Odyssey Youth Center and South Perry Business and Neighborhood Association will be holding a pop-up Pride event on Thursday. The event is meant to show inclusive spaces will still have a place in Spokane. After working out of the same building for more than 50 years, the Airway Heights Fire Department broke ground today on what will soon be their new space. In just under 2 years, this building will hold the fire and police departments as well as City Hall, a major step up from their current facility.
The original building was built in 1968. It's been remodeled 10 times. It doesn't have adequate areas for decontamination of our equipment.
Well, the $8 million facility was made possible by a bond passed by Airway Heights voters back in August. And new tonight, Spokane Valley deputies say they recovered a stolen car with 3 people inside. According to the sheriff's office, when a deputy tried to pull the car over, the driver turned off the headlights and sped away. Deputies then used a spike strip to get the car to stop. 18-year-old Edward Ramey, 26-year-old Robert Cross, and the 17-year-old driver were all taken into custody. Deputies say they found a gun inside the car, and the license plate and VIN number on the car were both reported as stolen. And that was your night beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. In national news tonight, New York Representative George Santos was indicted on new federal charges just hours ago, including conspiracy, wire fraud, credit card fraud, and identity theft. According to court documents, Santos stole the identities of donors to his campaign, then used their credit cards to ring up thousands of dollars in charges. He also wired money directly to his personal bank account. Santos faces 23 new charges in this latest indictment. And new tonight, $5 million worth of high-end sneakers were found in a warehouse in Austin, Texas. Local police say it's all part of a sophisticated operation where merchandise was stolen, then shipped to the warehouse to be resold. Brands like Nike, Adidas, and Supreme were all found in mint condition. So far, 2 people have been arrested, with several others still being investigated. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time.